It's another very, very enlightening episode of The Breakfast Show on TSL Nigeria TV. I'm so glad to have you join us. I'm Adanna.
Welcome back. Sickle cell disease has been recognized by the United Nations as one of the world's foremost genetic diseases and a public health problem. However, to create awareness and to celebrate the achievement of those living with sickle cell disease, SCD, 19th June of every year has been set aside as a day to celebrate them and has been tagged World Sickle Cell Day. Now, to furthermore explain what sickle cell disease is all about, we have a guest on the breakfast show this morning. She's a sickle cell warrior and advocate. She's the founder of Audrey Sickle Cell Foundation. Please join us. Welcome, Audrey Mukoro. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. You're looking very, very beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, the goal of the World Sickle Cell Day is to create enlightenment, to make people be aware of what sickle cell disease is all about, and to create an understanding of what the family members, the patients, and even caregivers go through, in terms of sickle cell disease. Now, before we go into all of that, we want to know, what is sickle cell disease? How is it diagnosed?
First of all, sickle cell is, we actually call it a disorder because it is not really a disease, it's a disorder of the red blood cells. And so because of the makeup, the way it is made, the way the disorder is, it is not usually, the red blood cells are not, it's not usual like those with AA or AS, right? So we have a curved shape. As for those living with the disorder, we have a curved shape. That is why it is called a disorder. It's the red blood cell. Of course, we all know that red blood cells are spherical in shape. But for us sickle cell people, it is curved, like a crescent. So that's why it is called a disorder. It doesn't come out, it doesn't generate like the normal red blood cells with those living with AA or AS. So that is why it's called sickle cell disorder.
Okay, so how is it diagnosed? How do you get to know you have
you could get to know that you have SS based on the symptoms, and then medically it's based on genotype test. Because of course a lot of persons would go and do a casual genotype test, and they'll come out with the results AA, AS or SS. But most of the time we like to tell people as advocates that they should go for a more proper test, so to say, because usually some of these labs, they make mistakes. All right, and so if you don't do the proper test, it's called electrophoresis, HPLC for short. If you don't do that test, you wouldn't know the amount of sickling red blood cells you have in your system. So, but that test I just mentioned gives you the exact amount, to know the number of sickling genotype you have in your system.
Okay, now I heard you say something about sickling red blood cells. So it's not the same for everybody?
No, it's not the same for everybody. Usually people say we have 3 genotypes, but there are more than 3. The AA people, AS, they usually have a red, like I said, round red blood cell. And for SS or SC or SD, any of the genotype that has S in it, it's a sickled shape already. It comes out as a crescent. So it doesn't come out the natural way which we're all used to, or which a lot of persons are used to, which is the the round genotype or round red blood cell. So that's the problem. That's what causes sickle cell. And of course, when this thing is flowing, the blood is flowing inside your system, what happens is, as a sickle cell person, your joints get clogged with that crescent shape. If it's flowing going round, and it's not having a crescent shape, it can go smoothly. But when you are living with the disorder, you know that, okay, I am begin to feel pains on my joints, my back, any part of my body. That means that particular place is clogged with the crescent shape. That's what causes the pain.
Okay. Now, Miss Audrey, you are a warrior, and I'm, so proud of you.
Thank you.
We want to know, how long have you been a warrior, a sickle cell warrior? Have you always known, or was it from childhood? How long have you been a warrior?
I'm a proud warrior. I'll be 36 anytime soon.
That's good.
I have known since my parents actually knew since I was 3 months old.
3 months.
So you can be diagnosed that early.
Yes, it can be diagnosed that.
So is this, now that you know, do you have any lifestyle? Like, do you abstain from certain foods, certain drinks? Do you have any lifestyle that you live?
Yeah, of course. As we tend to grow, when you have a condition that is not like every other person, you tend to create your own adaptive measures to make sure that you are doing things that will not trigger your pain, will not put you in jeopardy because you can't be doing something that another person. Of course, we're all normal, right?
Yeah.
But permit me to say, we can't be doing something that somebody with AA would do. Not like we can't do it, but even if we're going to do it, we take our time to do it. We take the normal time. If it's, for instance, say an hour, were to run from a particular point to another, right? I can't run that same hour. I have to take my time to make sure I get there, even if it takes me 2 hours. But I know I'll hit the goal is to get there, right? So I don't mind.
There's even no need to rush. No need to rush in life.
So I have to, create ways to make sure that this thing I'm going to do doesn't affect me. And when you have that at the back of your mind, when you accept your reality, the journey becomes easier. So for me, I have always, always had questions when I was much younger, and asking why am I being treated in a certain way different from every other person. In sports, in school, you're not allowed to participate in sports. Maybe you can just do debates or do things that will not stress you. But I began to ask questions, and I asked my parents, why is it so? Why is it that my elder brother or my younger one, they are allowed to play under the rain, I'm not allowed to play under the rain, or when the sun is too much, I'm not allowed to trek under the sun when it's too, So those questions, I was asking, my parents had to tell me, okay, this is what will happen, what we found out. Sorry, I think I made a mistake. 3 years, my parents found out when I was 3 years old.
Okay, 3 years.
So yes, so I began to ask those questions, and they said, this is it. This is why you are like this. And so if anybody is treating you different in school, don't take it as, don't feel that somebody is trying to stigmatize against you.
It makes you extra special.
But even at that, even as I grew up to have that orientation that, okay, I'm different, right? But there were still, some hard times in the society where, okay, they know that this person is living with a disorder, and there's a stigmatization, there's a discrimination. Oh, she's SS, she can't do this. This is not her job. She cannot handle this job. She can't, So a lot of those things are the things we face, even when your family is supportive. So you begin to find out when you grow, you step out of your comfort zone, want to get a job, want to go to school, want to, get married, want to do things that, of course, every normal person is expected to do. But really, they are blocks. And for me, I've just, stylishly had a way to, get used to these things, and I don't feel anything anymore. Of course, it's my life.
Oh my God, I must really commend you. You're a very strong person. I don't know if, I have as half of the strength that you're, showing us in this very brief time we're sharing with you, but you are a very strong person, and it's very commendable. Now, you already answered part of the question I was about to ask you. I wanted to find out, have you been denied certain work opportunities? Relationships, have there been relationships that would have worked out better if your situation was different, and how have you been able to live with it?
Yeah, the reality is, like I said, I have devised means, and so if I'm going into a relationship with you and you don't see beyond my sickle cell, you are the one. For me, you are the one at a loss, because I have other potentials that some persons don't have, you know. So I feel that you are the one at a loss. And yes, I've had these experiences over time. It's still there. It's not like it's not there, but I've just, you know, I just shrug it off because like, I've been living this my whole life. It's not like it started at a point. I've been living with this disorder, so I've known how to handle certain things. The first disappointment I got was, yes, when I was trying to job hunt. I actually did my youth service about a decade ago in Port Harcourt. You know, so I tried to apply for, of course, as a young couple, you'll want to, you know, try what people are doing, what your mates are doing. And I applied for a job at DSTV. And that was where, I'm sorry to mention, but that was where, you know, reality hit me hard that, okay, I'm going to be facing more of this, more of this. And really, as at that point, I had not, you know, I had not really gotten used to the fact that this is what's going to happen the rest of my life. So I felt pain, like I have this opportunity. We're giving exams to write, and I was among the first 50. All right. So why am I not, you know, I'm getting to the point where we're doing verbal interview and you're telling me, because I opened up to you and you're telling me, oh, I'm sorry, you can't do this, we can't do that. What is it to just do than to sit down, answer phone calls, or do whatever I am assigned to? Of course, I have sickle cell, but it doesn't mean it's in my brains. I can also
limit your potential.
So yeah, so that was, you know, that was the first thing that happened to me, and I felt bad about it. Then talking about relationships, yes, I've had a fair share of them too. As a matter of fact, I'm a single mom, so of course, when I say I'm a single mom, you should know that something had happened along the line. So it's not something we will not live with. As long as you're a sickle cell person, these are things you will just have to, you know, go through living your life. So it's just for you, like I said, to devise a coping mechanism and make sure that some of these things don't get to you. I can't walk into somebody's office and say, I'm looking for a job now, and you turn me down, and I'll feel bad. Because I feel you are the one at a loss. I could do better at that job. Of course, we are naturally, we are gifted in, you know, we may not have the strength. What we lack in strength, we have upstairs. So, you know, if you don't give me the job, you are the one at a loss. You are the one who's losing the things I'm bringing to the table. So that's how I see
So now that we've talked about the lifestyle, we know what sickle cell is. I want us to talk about any medical aspects, if there's any advancement, because we hear that blood transfusion works. Also bone marrow transplants works. So is there any medical advancement, you know, to make them live longer? Because we also hear that they can't live above 45 years of age. So is there anything they are currently doing to make them live longer?
You know, there's not a lot that's been done about sickle cell, right? I don't know why it's like that, but what has been there from time immemorial is bone marrow transplants. And yes, blood transfusion also helps to reduce, you know, the sickling, the issues that come with sickling properties, you know, when you're having issues with your joints and all. Yeah, so the best thing, or what should we say, should I say it's the best thing now, because it's not a total cure and it's not cheap. It doesn't come cheap. Bone marrow transplants has been there. It's not a total cure. You can only, when you do that, you just know that, okay, this person will not be falling into crisis or having complications that comes with sickle cell. But the genotype doesn't change. And it's not cheap. It's not every family that can afford it. So as it is now in Nigeria, we have it here in Benin. We have one of our doctors, Dr. Bazwaye. He's the one that does it here in Nigeria, in Benin. He has a center for it. And then, of course, you can do this also, you can do it abroad, but it's a 50-50 for adults. Yeah, you know, as you grow older, the procedure becomes more risky. You know, so it's usually easy when the person is below, teenage years or, teens or children. Yeah. So like I said, it's not cheap. It's not 10-12 million naira.
Wow. Now, just going back to what you said earlier, that anybody that, chose to deny you any opportunities, the person is lost. I totally agree with the person, because before we started, you were saying something about your foundation, Audrey Sickle Cell Foundation, and I'm sure you guys are doing so many amazing things that I want you to tell us more about it today on the show. What's your foundation all about? What do you guys do?
Okay, Audrey Sickle Cell Foundation was bettered in 2018, and it's been 3 years now, May 2018, and it's been 3 years. What we do basically is to create awareness about the disorder, create awareness, educate people that are living with the disorder, because one thing is to talk about it, another thing is to, have the caregivers know what they're doing, or have the people that are suffering with it or living with it, so to say, know how to handle it when it comes, all right? So we basically create awareness, educate people, advocate for sickle cell people, and also support them within our organization's capacity. And yes, we are founded in Delta States, Warri precisely, but we have community-based volunteers. And this brings me to where I'll say we also need volunteers in Benin City. We have volunteers in Lagos, we have volunteers, community-based volunteers, like I said, in Lagos, in Agbo, we have also in Benin, and we're still looking for if you care to join us. Also, we have volunteers in Abuja. So what we do is to just create awareness, get people to support the warriors within our organization's capacity. So if it means us, getting involved in your case, and we have the funding to get you drugs or to get you pay for your medical bills, we can do that if we have the funding as of the time.
Okay. So please, because you've already established the fact that this is gotten basically through genotype. When genotypes that have
it's inherited, yes.
It's inherited. So why do you think the rate is still high? I know it's hard when you fall in love with somebody, you love somebody so much, and then maybe when you're almost about to settle down, you find out that both of you share the same genotype, AS or something, an S genotype kind of. Why do you think the rate is still high? Why is it that people are not able to understand that you're going to be, causing another person pain in the long run? So why don't you just opt out when it is still early? Why don't you opt out and save another human being certain pains that could have easily been avoided? Is it because of love, in quotes, or is it just because people always feel, oh, we're going to find a way in the future, we're going to find a way in the future? Why do you think this is still very high?
Yeah, first of all, I would say ignorance is also, ignorance is a factor. A lot of persons, they just feel that, then some of the time, Christianity is also a problem. I'm sorry to say. Yes.
But you talk about Christianity now. In most churches, they do your genotype before the marriage. So if you're AS and you're AS, they will not allow you to get married.
Because people say you can pray about it.
Yes.
Okay, that aspect.
Okay. So you find couples who are, because they are from very religious background, or they're Christians, or they say, oh, when we get to that bridge,
we'll cross it.
We'll cross it. Or God will not give me what I cannot carry. People keep saying that, and it annoys me, so to say, because you already know this thing, and you're walking into it, and you are saying, it's not as if you're even making, saying, okay, the medical options that are available, I will take one of them. You are saying, you're walking into it blind. You see that the place is deep. You're walking into it blindly. And you're saying, God will not give me what I cannot carry, or I can't lose my spouse of 5 years because of my genotype. And that is why I also said ignorance is also an issue. A lot of persons are educated, but they are illiterate, I'm sorry to say, because if you read, you do a lot of research, you'll find out that this thing is avoidable. We could actually avoid it. We could avoid making the mistakes. Our parents had done this because as of the time, technology has not advanced the way it is now. So why would you be making a mistake your parents made, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, and you say, oh, I'm a Christian, God is there. When you start seeing your child go through pains, you see that love you're professing, you see that Christianity, it flies through the window. It is not jokes. It is not jokes, because when you see somebody in a sickle cell person in pain, take for instance myself. Yes, I can be speaking all the English here I want to, all right? But let me be in pain in the next 20 minutes. You will feel for me.
Yeah.
You will be wondering, so this is the issue, this is what I have to deal with every day of my life.
Yeah.
So why would you intentionally bring a child to come and suffer? World. It's not as if you have money to go through the medical routes. Of course, the medical routes, there are options. There's pregenetic implantation. There's prenatal diagnosis. Pregenetic implantation is just like IVF. You get couples,
all require money. They all require so much money.
And it doesn't come cheap.
It doesn't come cheap at all.
So if, of course, there are people that want to go for it because they can't afford it, right? Or they want to fly abroad and say, okay, it's the best option, let's do this, right? Yes, we have people like that. But people that don't even have money, that can barely feed or barely live an average life, you want to venture into that and you think it's going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Like I said, there's adoption. There are a lot of kids on the road. It's not compulsory you give birth. It's not compulsory you give birth like a parent, like you want to be a parent. You can be a parent and not, you know, and not give birth biologically, right?
Can adopt.
So there's adoption, there's pregenetic implantation, there's live with the consequences, yeah? There's also prenatal diagnosis where the woman is already pregnant within the first few weeks and she can be tested to know, the child in a womb, the fetus can be tested to know if it is SS.
Sorry, before you go on, you know, you told us earlier that you are a single mom.
Yeah.
So did you go through all this process and did you birth your child naturally? How did it go? And, you know, what's your child's genotype now?
My child's genotype is she's AS. Okay. I knew already, you know, like I said, I knew when I was already growing up, I had this, I just knew that I can't do anything short of AA because my parents, first of all, they don't have the money, you know, so I can't even venture into that. So I knew at the back of my mind, it has to be an AA man, and he has to not just be an AA, he has to have sense, he has to have the balls.
Very, very important.
You know, because when, like I said, when you see pressure, it's not just financial pressure, there's mental pressure, there's, you know, everything. It's on all sides of life. So if you don't have the balls as a man, you will scare me more. You will put in fear, the fear that I'm trying to, oh, don't worry, I can handle this. You will bring it and it will worsen my situation. When you don't have the money, it is a double problem. You know, even if you're saying it's something like, but money will help, at least it will make it easier, right? So you have to have the money, you have to have the balls, you have to have the sense.
Exactly. We have to continue this conversation.
I really don't want this conversation to end.
My dear.
Audrey, like I said earlier, I'm not going to stop saying this. Your strength is amazing.
Thank you.
Really, really amazing. And I'm sure
much.
this kind of strength doesn't come easy. It's not so common. So I want you to talk to our young warriors out there, people that have not gotten to this particular stage. Tell them, you know, how to live better with this situation that they're passing through.
Yeah, first of all, I'll usually say, if your path demands that you walk through hell, walk like you own the damn place. You live your life once.
Yeah.
You don't have to allow other people's definition of you become your reality. Yes, it took me time to get to this point because I was scared of all the bashing, you know, or walking on the road and having people, you know. But at a point, I knew that I was living in denial. So living in denial doesn't help. It doesn't help because you begin to guard yourself. Everywhere you go, you begin to guard yourself and make sure, oh, I don't make a mistake of saying I'm this when I'm, you know. So I think when you live your reality, it makes your journey easy. People already know that this is what I am. So when I come into a place, for instance, I come into a party, you won't see me with alcohol.
Yes.
And I will not pretend because you want me to take alcohol. No, I'll tell you, when I'm at this point, if I'm hungry, I need food. No matter where you see me, if you see me eating on the street tomorrow, know that I could not bear the hunger.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
my
you.
personal. So
Thank
live
you
your
so
reality
much.
and don't get to live people's definition of you.
Yeah.
It makes your journey much easier.
Yeah.
And like I said, develop your coping mechanisms. What will work for me may not work for the other person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've heard
Yes.
it. Develop your
coping
mechanism.
mechanism.
Thank you so much.
We've had such an amazing time on the show today. Trust me, I've been impacted in so many ways. I can't even start saying it right now. And I don't think there's any other thing I can add to what Audrey has said this morning. If you are a warrior, you know, work with your coping mechanisms and live better. But if you're not yet in that situation, it is not wise to subject another human being to such pains. Leave your emotions aside, leave your religious beliefs aside, leave every other thing aside. Do the right thing and, you know, save people the pain that they have to go through. Thank you so much for joining us today on The Breakfast Show. But that's all we can take today. And don't go anywhere and don't, you know, lose hope, because we're going to be back on Monday for another very, very interesting episode that you do not want to miss out on. Follow us on all our socials at TSL Nigeria TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, TSL Nigeria TV. So I come your way again next week. Do have a great week and enjoy the rest of your day. My name is Adanna.
Stay connected to TSL Nigeria and get updates on the go all day, every day. Subscribe to our YouTube channel on TSL Nigeria Space TV and join our online family.